And we're back with another episode of everyone's favorite show,
Can You Print It?
And today we're going to look at that Chaos Army everyone loves to hate, Slaves to Darkness. Now, when I started this project, there was just a start collecting box. But by the time I got to the end, the new boxes were just piling up. So instead of doing one box like I normally do, I decided to do all three. So, was I able to 3D print all those boxes of Slaves to Darkness? See for yourself. Roll the clip! Well, that was different. But yes, I was able to print all of them. So here's a quick look at everything I printed for this project. Then we'll look at some close-ups and I'll tell you where I found everything. But maybe not quite in that order. So to preface this, I used one designer for the whole thing, and that's Bestiarum. I began with the start collecting box. I needed to find a Chaos Lord on a Karkadrak, some Chaos Knights, and some Warriors. Let's start with the Warriors. So for those, I used Bestiarum's Exultators. It's one of their older kits, but it's got a lot of options to make some beefy barbarian looking guys. To give some more variation to the weapons, I did use some of their other kits, and I made some of my own. Something to note, the weapons I used were just the old melee weapons from the old kit, not the new halberds. Another thing you might notice is that there are more than 10, and it's not just because I wanted extras, although that is part of the reason. It's mainly because this kit was a little bit big for the warrior bases, so I had to scale them down and decided to try two different sizes. One is about 5% bigger than the other. I also flipped them horizontally so it makes it look like there are more poses than there actually are, which is a handy tip you can use on just about everything. Next we need some Chaos Knights. At the time they didn't really have a whole lot of knight options, so I used the Dread Horseman. There are a couple different ones now that might work as well. There's the Legion Cataphract, which are kind of Tomb King-y, or the Repenter Cavalry, which are kind of, I guess, culty? All three are great choices, but I stand by my decision to use the Dread Horseman for these Chaos Knights. The Dread Horsemen mostly come with just random melee weapons, but the Chaos Knights mostly have lances, so there was a broken lance in this set, and I took that and made a full lance and then gave that to all of them but the leader. The last model we need for our start collecting box is the Chaos Lord on the Karkadrak. Now I don't believe Bestiarum has any models mounted on like a giant lizard, but they do have this mounted war leader. Covered in blood, bones, and spikes, and riding a giant fat man, this guy is way more brutal than the original Chaos Lord. If I were to print this again though, I might change the size of the rider. He's a little bit small. Now in one of my normal videos, this is where I'd show you what the actual box looks like and what I made. And then I'd say goodbye.
But it is not this day.
So let's get right on to the second box. Now the name on this one I believe was the Slaves to Darkness Army set, but don't quote me on that. But basically it had a Demon Prince, 3 Ogroid Theridons, and 10 Chaos Chosen. We're going to start with the Chosen. Basically, they're just bigger warriors, but with two-handed weapons. So I used the same Exultators kit that we used for the warriors, just changing the one-handed and shield for a bigger weapon. Again, like with the warriors, I ended up using some of the other weapons from other Bestiarum kits. I also made some of my own, like the big hammer, the mace, the drum, and then the standard looking thing. There's a surprising amount of things you can make with just a little bit of 3D modeling. Next we need the Ogroid Theridons. They're basically like Minotaurs, or I guess Tauren from WoW. And in this case, Bestiarum has a couple huge sets of Minotaurs and Beastmen to choose from. For mine, I specifically used the Aurochs Warrior with a drum, then an Aurochs Warrior with a Great Axe, and then finished with a Capra Marauder with a standard or a banner. Now these models I didn't have to change at all, I just kind of put them together and then printed and painted them. Finally, to complete our army set, we need a Demon Prince. Bestiarum has a pretty cool winged demon called a Skragoth Overlord, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's a pretty big beastie. He's covered in like a bone armor with some weapons and then has these really cool wings on the back. The only thing I had to change on this was this base. It was just too big to fit on the regular Demon Prince base, so I basically just chopped off the bottom, and that seemed to work. And there you have it. That's the Slaves to Darkness Army Set box, the original on the left, and my Bestiarum one on the right. I think it turned out pretty well.
But wait! There's more!
Okay, this is the last one, I swear. It also won't take as long because we've done most of the models already. So this is the Slaves to Darkness Vanguard. It's the most recent box that just came out. We've already done the Warriors and the Knights, so might just have to change some weapons to match the new units, but besides that, let's work on the other two. First, let's go with the Chaos Lord. He's basically just a beefy armored warrior, so I found the Lacrimator from Bestiarum. I felt like he matched the part. He's another one of those models covered in spikes with a bunch of skulls in his hand. I mean, that's like the definition of a Chaos Lord. And last but not least, we need a Chaos Chariot. Bestiarum did not disappoint with their Gladiator Chariot. It worked almost perfectly. The only thing it's really missing is a second person in the chariot, and I just took one of the warriors and threw him back. If you don't like the creatures pulling the chariot, I'm sure you could swap them with horses, but I was okay with them. And there you have it. That's the third of our boxes. So again, the left is the original Vanguard box, and the right is my Bestiarum Vanguard box. Now these might not work for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. In the grand scheme of things, I just thought these felt very chaosy to me. And this project gave me a chance to use a creator that I have followed for a long time, have tons of their models, but never actually printed anything. Speaking of, I would like to shout out Bestiarum one last time before this ends. I've been a subscriber to them for a long time, but haven't actually used any of the models. Just haven't had a reason to. But they're really cool. They've got like a gothic horror, Dark Souls type of vibe. And I also think they do D&D little modules, which aren't really my thing, but there's probably a lot of people out there that it is exactly what they're looking for. So if any of that interests you, please go take a look at them. Their monthly subscription, either through Patreon or Tribes, is a pretty good deal. It's $10 and you get a bunch of models, or it's $14 if you want the D&D add-on. And in conclusion, anyone who got this far, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. It took me a lot longer than I had hoped for to get this project done, and even longer to make this video. So I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. And for a little bonus, I'm going to give you a little hint as to what I think I'm doing next. Ta-da! Okay, so it was less of a hint and more of a, I think I'm doing 40k orcs next. That was the one that the most people have asked for, so I've got some ideas already on who I'm going to use, and I don't think it'll take me nearly as long as this last one. Now let me know your thoughts. Would you use these for your Slaves to Darkness army? Or do you have some better alternatives? Let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to vote for the army you want to see printed next. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more, and as always, thanks for watching.